All right, cool. There we go. All right. Also, side note, on Saturday, it's as close as we get to Halloween class because we're not open on Sunday. And we've got our Halloween playlist. And I'm gonna see if I can find my hot dog costume. I don't know where it is. So it's at very least you're gonna get a onesie, if not my hot dog costume, which I can't actually turn my head in. So it's not necessarily the most functional. Anyway, hello everybody. How are you today? Thank you for joining me for Abs, Thighs, Glutes. My name is Audra. And tonight we're going to use a ball. If at home you don't have one, that's okay. You can 100% just fold a pillow or just ditch the prop entirely. While I am not using one of the mini bands, it is an option. So if at any point for the glute work, you're like, I want more resistance, feel free. And then as always, listen to your body. Don't do anything that isn't right for you. Great. Let's get started. We're going to begin on our back, but with the ball or pillow behind our thoracic spine. And just so you guys on this side of the room know, I'm still watching you. There's a mirror, so I'm not ignoring you just because my back is to you. So go ahead and bring your hands behind your head, feet flat, and just start to lengthen your ears away from your hips and eventually come into a nice little extension over the ball. Inhale, and then on your exhale, think about sinking your ribs down a little bit, lengthening through your ears. We're actually just coming into neutral to start. So instead of curling forward, we're just making one long line and then slowly extend over the ball, kind of defying gravity as you do it. Exhale, come into that neutral. Kyle, nudge your chin a little bit. Yep, there you go. And then slowly extend back. Just a couple more here. Let's start to get a little bit of deep abdominal and pelvic floor engagement as we curl and lift just a little and slowly lower. Last one, hold it up. And then without changing the shape of your spine, inhale, exhale, take 1 pound of weight off the ball and just see what your body does. Mine trembles immediately. And then slowly extend. Let's do a couple more like that. Curl to neutral, inhale. Exhale, lighten the load on the ball. Just take 1 pound of your weight off of it. And then slowly extend. Everybody feel that extra work as soon as we just use the intention? Great. 2 more. Good. Last one like this. Now bring your hands forward, push them into an imaginary surface, looking straight in between your knees. Good. Bring your fingertips to the sky without looking at them. Keep looking straight ahead. Good. Hands back behind your head, slowly lower. Let's do a couple more. Now, the reason I want you to look forward as opposed to up is our spine goes where our eyes do. And so if we start looking up, we're starting to extend through our spine. 2 more. Good, everybody. Last one. Bring it up and hold. Now inhale, exhale, rotate your collarbones to one side. Good. Back to center. Inhale, exhale, other direction. Try to allow those ribs to rotate around your spine as opposed to the spine moving. And you can think about one rib cage pulling back into the ball. And if at any point you need a break, please take one. How's everybody's abs? Yeah, same. 5 minutes in, we have one more each direction. And slowly lower over the ball. Big inhale, letting your ribs expand. As we exhale, curl forward and then rotate to one side. And then slowly extend. Curl forward, rotate to the other side. Good. Now, as we start to move, if you begin your exhale before your movement, you're more likely to be able to engage your deep abdominals. We're using our diaphragm, which helps your pelvic floor and transverse abdominis do their job. One more each side. Last one. And slowly extend. Nice job. Now, if you need to get closer to the ball or farther away, it's fine. Extend one leg and push that heel into the ground a little bit. Now, if your elbows are out wide, that's great, but we're going to spiral them forward just a little bit. Nod your chin, hollow out through the front of your body, slide that foot in, and then slide it out and extend. Couple more. Good. Nice job, everybody. Hi. How's your butt feeling today? Okay. Take breaks as needed. It's all good. Yeah. Just the ball is great if you need. Yep. 2 more. And then hold. Rotate towards that knee. Take your arm, your opposite arm, and you're going to push the back of your forearm into your leg, and you're going to push your leg into your forearm. Everybody feel that extra work? Yeah. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Extend. Relax. Extend that other leg out. Inhale. Exhale. Curl. And then extend. And exhale. And if at any point you need a break or you need to adjust where your prop is, that's fine. Give me just a couple more. If at any point your back decides it doesn't like this anymore, you can get rid of the prop entirely and just do this on the floor. 2. Last one. And we rotate, opposite arm, push the back of your forearm or hand, depending on the length of your arms, into the leg, push the leg into your hand, and we hold. Think about that armpit connecting for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, foot down, nice extension over the prop. Let your abs relax, and I want you to breathe into the front and sides of your torso with that inhale. So big inhale, let all of your muscles expand. One more. Curl up, and you're gonna lower yourself away from the ball a little bit for starters. So basically, if you were on your forearms, you would push into the floor and have this kind of side. You can always, always, always change your arm position. I want you to be able to find a posterior tilt of your pelvis. Bring one leg at a time to tabletop. Good. Squeeze your inner thighs together as if you're trying to pop a balloon. And then slowly let your knees drop away from your face. Exhale, squeeze and float. Now, if you're sinking into your shoulders, I need you to push the floor away. Good. If for any reason you're like, ooh, that doesn't feel great on my shoulders, you have options. One, try widening your arms. See if that feels a little bit better. If it's still a little touchy, you can bring your hands behind your head. It's just not as connected with through the lats, right? So that's okay. You'll just have to think about your armpits a little bit more. So whichever variation works for you is great. Also breaks. Breaks are great. We have 3. 2 more. How's everyone feeling? Good? Ready for the next exercise, or do you need a break? Let's go then. We're gonna hold and rotate your knees to one shoulder and then back and then rotate. Good. Now, if your hands are behind your head, don't go as far because you are on an unstable surface without holding on. So Nancy, do you feel how your whole body responded? Scoot away from the ball a little bit more. Instead of going super far, just let them tilt a little bit. Yeah, and just tilt a little bit. Is that better? Good. It's more about pulling the knees to your opposite shoulder. Yeah. Yeah. 2 more. Good, because we're going to last set. And feet down, extend over the ball. Nice job, everybody. Now go ahead, get a little closer to the ball. It doesn't have to be nestled in your low back, just a little bit closer. Now, instead of curling from the top down, we're going to curl from the bottom up. So think about tucking your tailbone, pulling your belly button back, then low ribs, then your head follows suit. Good. And then we're slowly articulating the opposite way. So unwind your hips first, then your ribs, then your head. If that does not feel good on your back, go the other way, okay? Exhale, curl your tailbone, and then let the rest of your body follow suit. And then unwind slowly from the hips down this time. So if you feel your erectors trying to help, instead of unwinding, just slow. We have 2 more like this. Resisting gravity on the way down. Last one. And unwind. Let those elbows be wide. 2 breaths. Trying to allow your torso to expand and contract. 1 more. Bring your elbows forward, nod, bring your hands, and we curl up and restack. Nice job. Now we have the option of using the ball behind us for a little support. Let's all try it. Good. So find your sits bones. If you need to, you can move a little flesh out from beneath, like in between the mat and the sits bones. Shoulder blades gently draw down your back without forcing your shoulders down. It's more like the bottom tips go boop. And then just curl your tailbone. Start to straighten your arms. And maybe your arms straighten, maybe they don't. And then fold over your ribs. Let your back move and restack. So we did a lot of extension to begin. And we're now adding some flexion. Restack. Good. 2 more. Good. Now, if at any point you need to maintain holding on to your legs, that's great. Please do. If you would like More challenge, arms come forward, curl back, hold. Try not to put as much weight on the ball. Hands come up, and then we dive forward. Now, if you're like, could like more work, please move the ball back just a millimeter. Don't put a bunch of weight on the ball, right? So it's more like you touch, looking straight ahead instead of at your hands. Good. And then dive forward, looking at your feet and restack. Good. Now, if you're like, more work, move the ball entirely. And then up, and then dive forward. If you need somewhere in between, you need just a little bit of support, but you don't want it behind your back, you can put it in between your knees. So then your inner thighs get to help. Nancy, don't extend over the ball. Yeah, move the ball back a little bit, and then don't put quite as much weight on it. Yeah. Yeah, right there. Don't put any more weight on it. Lift your chest up. There, that's where you're going. Yeah. You're welcome. Last one. And dive forward and restack. Now we can bring our hands back to our thighs if we like. And we roll back. Take one arm off. Open our chest to the other side. And then other side. Now maybe this is where you are today. If you're holding on to your legs, try not to just hold on for dear life, right? Shoulder blades draw down the back so those lats kick on. See if you can think about the front of your armpit. If you're like, that's too easy, great. That's fine. You can let go. And if you're like, that's even too easy, fantastic. You can up level it by taking the ball out from behind you, opening, curling down a few inches, curling back up. If you're like, I would prefer not to do that, don't, it's great. Whatever variation you want to do is fine. So Kyle, open your chest towards Stephanie. Yeah, yeah, there you go. Try not to fall into it. You're only testing the waters. Nice job, everybody. Last one. And then we roll down an inch and another inch. And if the ball was behind you, move it. And then an inch and an inch and an inch and an inch. Boop. Nice job, everybody. Bring your feet in and just kind of feel where your back is, where your hips are. You can sway your hips from side to side. Now, if the ball is to the side, go ahead and pop it in between your inner thighs for me. And bring your toes pointing directly forward. You can have your hands on your hip bones for a guide, or you can have them beside you. If your shoulders like to internally rotate, flip your palms to the sky or facing each other. On your exhale, imprint your spine. So belly button slides down, low back melts. Peel your spine up one bone at a time, coming into your first bridge. Now, at the top of your bridge, just check in. Is your weight on your neck? Are you lifting from your armpits? Do you feel tension in your low back? If the answer to any of these is yes, hollow out through the front of your body, tuck your tailbone, press your feet and arms a little bit more aggressively into the ground. Inhale, and then exhale, melt your throat away from your face, melt your sternum, your ribs, your low back, all the way to neutral. Let's try that again. Exhale. Try to keep softness through the fronts of your thighs, using your abs to curl, and then you press into your feet a little bit. And then melt and roll. A lot of times if our hip flexors are really overly excitable. They try to do the work here, but we want to let them melt. It's abs and gravity. And then posterior chain. Last one. Aren't you guys glad we took a break from ab work? Yes. And melt and roll, widening through your sits bones. Bring your fingertips to the sky. Arm bones relax down into the ground. Hands come out into a T position or a goalpost if that's better for you. Press your knuckles from the back of your shoulders into the ground. Now close your ribs toward your belly button and bring your legs to tabletop. Everybody's tabletop's a little different. It's okay if you need to drop your feet or bring your knees in closer. Otherwise, we're gonna squeeze our heels together, squeeze the prop, let one hip lift while the other hip lowers, hold. Keeping the opposite shoulder on the ground. Exhale, drag the ribs back to the ground. And that's what drags your hips back. And then other side. We inhale and exhale. Back and forth. If you'd like more challenge, arms to the sky, but keep the opposite shoulder nice and heavy. If you'd like more challenge, hands interlaced behind your head, spiral your elbows forward, come up into your chest lift. Hold your chest right where it is. Don't keep looking at your feet. So look at your feet to start, and then keep looking exactly where you were. The feet move, your gaze does not. And then back. Feet move, gaze does not. Good. Lifting that hip. Good. How's that feeling, everybody? Great? Good. Couple more. And you can even bring your feet down to the ground if that's where you are. No problem. Listen to your body. Last one each side. And go ahead, bring your feet down. We have our prop. We're going to place it in between the heel of our hands. Float one leg to tabletop. And using the heel of your hands, press the ball into your knee. Press your knee into the ball. Good. Everybody feel that little bit of ab activation? Good. Hugging those armpits in a little bit. And then other side. Step, lift, press. So if as you're pressing into the ball, you're really feeling like superficial hip flexor, try bringing your knee in a little bit and externally rotating a millimeter and see if that helps a little. And back and forth. Because yes, hip flexors need to work. They need to be strong. But sometimes certain ones try to take over. They have a lot of jobs. And so they're like, I can do this, even if it's not their job. Now, if this is where you are, great, stick with that. Otherwise, bring both legs to tabletop. Hug those armpits in, pressing into both knees. Push one foot away. And then let that knee fold in. Other side. Reaching that foot far, far away, as if you're trying to push it to a wall and through a wall. If you need, you can just tap the toe down. You can also step the whole foot down to get a little bit more activation through your hamstring and glute. Get two more. Now, if you would like, as you reach one leg away, you reach the ball to the side of that knee and then other side. So you're still finding that armpit connection, hugging the elbow in. So you're also finding serratus as well as lat. It's going to help you find that oblique. And of course, if you would like, you can lift your head in between and rotate. Couple more. If you need a little bit of support for your neck, you can always place one hand behind your head for support. We have one more each side. Hold this first side again, extend that leg up, and now we're gonna roll the ball up, lifting a little higher, and then back down. Now, that extended leg can be down on the ground. The leg can also be bent, foot on the ground. And honestly, even this knee can be bent if you need, right? If you don't have a lot of hamstring flexibility, that's okay. 3, 2, hold, switch legs. And then reach up a little bit more and down. And again. Once again, if you need, put a hand behind your head for a little bit of support. We have 3, 2, last one. Hug your knees in, head comes down. Gently rock from side to side. How you guys feeling so far? Good. Hands behind your thighs. Press your thighs into your hands. Your legs will start, or your arms will start to straighten. Lift your chest, and we're just going to do a little pill bug rock until we can come up and extend your legs forward. Now, we're about to do some roll-ups. So for any reason roll-ups don't work for you without a prop, grab your prop. Hands come forward, shoulders melt. Think about somebody you like coming up behind you and hugging you. So you're like, oh, hello, uppercase C shape. And as we exhale, curl your tailbone toward your face. We're gonna go slow for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Allow those hands to come overhead. Inhale, exhale, roll forward. Now making sure you're using your breath here. And we want to think about a wave crashing onto the beach, right? We're rolling like the ocean as opposed to having to go up, right? Couple more. Trying not to fight your body so much. So yes, it's great to find muscle activation, but I'd also like you to be able to just let your breath help you. Last one. And come all the way up. All right. Now think about your thigh bones connecting to your ribs. You're going to squeeze your inner thighs together and push your feet away from you. Now roll back behind your tailbone. So if you're on your tailbone and arching, pull your belly button back. Good. Keep sending your feet away from you. Take your hands out to the side and maybe your feet start to lift. Good, and then you can come out of that. Good, you don't have to hold it for long, right? Let's try that again. How did that feel? That was okay? Good, so inner thighs, connect your thighs to your ribs, roll back, push the feet away, and then your hands can help, right? Yeah, now Hands behind your thighs, shoulders draw down. Now we're just hanging out here for a second, so if you need a break, that's okay. If your tailbone is real heavy, notice how it's going to kind of push you forward. It's a lot of quad, right? So keep your tailbone rolled away from you. You're going to lower all the way like a roll up. And then you can either do a roll up, or as you come forward, you push your feet away. Teaser happens. Yeah, you can, yeah. And you can hold on to your thighs in between for a second. And then curl the tailbone, push the feet away from you. And then you can either do a roll up or push the feet away, come into teaser. Now, if you tend to grip through your back here, instead, as you roll up, slide your knees in, and then you can extend, okay? Good. It should be that same kind of rolling forward of the spine, and the legs just happen to come along for the ride. But sometimes that's not what our body wants, which is when we can slide. Yeah. Last one. And then bend the knees, feet apart, relax over the legs. Nice job, you guys. And then you can, if you're like me and you've got kind of tight hips, take your elbows and place them on your legs. And instead of pushing down with the elbows, push up slightly with the legs. And then breathe and just see if you can get a little bit more relaxation coming on to all fours. How you guys doing? Good? Still with me? Okay. All right. We're going to set up where our shoulders are directly over our wrists. And if you're like, oh, I hate being on my hands in a plank, come onto your fists or forearms. It's fine. But if you're on your hands, just push a little bit more with your pointer finger. Now, think about spiraling your arm bones a little bit, pushing the floor away. We're trying to find that serratus anterior. Good. And just let your chest come towards the floor, shoulder blades gently come together, and then press the floor away. Your chest lifts. That's it. We're just starting with a little bit of shoulder, I guess more scapular mobilization. Good. Two more. Beautiful. Yep. And the elbows can stay straight. Yeah. So let your body move. If it was an open chain, it would be like you were doing this, right? Except we have the floor to help us. Good. Last two. Now, let your shoulder blades draw up and then shoulder blades draw down. So now they're gliding up and down your back, getting a little bit of movement that way. Is your body moving the opposite way? Maybe. Last one, hold them down slightly, pushing into the floor, belly button lifts. Slide one foot out, good, and then fold it in. Beautiful. And again, yeah, nice. Switching legs, good question. Good. Now, as you slide a foot out, that leg really isn't our focus leg. I'd like you to focus more on the stationary leg. So when I slide my left leg out, I'm really thinking about my right knee pressing down and out, so my hips don't shift over that leg. So let's try it with that intention. Good. And once again, you can always be on fists or forearms. The only thing with forearms is if you're making a triangle, it's really widening your base of support and internally rotating your shoulder. So try to think of railroad tracks rather than a triangle shape. Yeah. Last one, each side. Still making the connection to the floor. Slide one foot out and hold. Let that heel press away from your face a little bit. So you're coming into ankle dorsiflexion. Inhale, exhale, push the floor away, lift your belly button. Maybe that knee comes with you, maybe it doesn't, and then it taps back down. Now, if you're like, well, I can lift my knee, but I don't really want to lift my foot, it's okay, keep your foot down. If you're like, I'd rather just keep my leg on the ground, that's also fine. Just imagine lifting the knee. So we're coming into that plank. 2. Good. Last one. Hold. Slide that foot out to meet your other one, lengthening through the crown of your head, and then bend the knee. So we're now on the opposite side. Inhale, exhale, push into the extended leg, look down at your knee, and then back. Exhale, curl, lifting the ribs, and back down. Couple more. Now, trying not to let the hip bones dive forward at any point. We are in our plank throughout. Good, good. Beautiful, everybody. Once again, maybe the knee lifts and the foot stays down. Maybe they both stay down. Maybe they both lift. Last one. Slide that foot out, other foot comes to meet it, and hold. Now, if it's appropriate, bend one knee, reach it back, other side. So front support. Trying to switch legs. Now maybe you tap the knee instead, or maybe you go back to extending one leg at a time. It's up to you. That's fine. You can also, of course, be on your forearms. Whatever your body needs. We have 2 more. Last one. Knees down. Press yourselves into a rest position. Rolling out your wrists. Take your hands up and over to one side. Press your hips away. Feel your back expand with oxygen. And then other side. Now, if you have a mini band and you want to use the mini band, you can bring it above your knees so it's on your thighs. If you're like, no thanks, I'm good, that's fine. We're going to come on to our side. And we've got this prop, so why don't we use it as a pillow? Sound good? Great. So first, find your ribs on the bottom side, like the ribs that are touching the mat, and see if you can slide your fingers under them. So lift your whole rib cage up off the ground, and then take that hip that's on top and lengthen it away. So if you think of a plank, right? We're never sinking into the shoulder. We're still making that little rainbow shape with our body. It's just a plank on the ground instead of a plank on our forearms. Now, this top knee is going to rotate slightly forward. So if you glance at your knees, I want it pointed just a little bit farther forward than your bottom knee. Let your sits bones be wide. Bring your top knee up. Now, slowly let it come down. Now, the slow eccentric controlled position is real fun because that's one of the ways we get stronger faster, right? It's nice to be able to contract. It's great to isometrically hold, and then we are slowly resisting gravity. Good. How's that feeling, everybody? Great. Good. We have just a bunch more. Good. I just feel like I'm lying when I say just a couple more, because I can't count. We have now 2 more. Now, all we're gonna do, rotate that foot up. So now you're in a little bit of internal rotation here. Once again, that hip is rotating forward slightly. We're gonna push to the sky slightly and then bring it in and down. So it's at an angle. Good. And if you're like, oh, I just feel my TFL, I only feel the front, bring your foot back in space a little bit. We're trying to find glute minimus and the anterior fibers of glute medius, which often TFL has similar jobs, so it really likes to help. Just a few more here. Trying to maintain that internal rotation. 3. Good. Last one. Bring that knee down. Hold. Bottom foot is going to come to meet it. So now both feet are in an both thighs are in an internal rotation. Squeeze your heels together. Let that top knee come up. So now external rotation on the top. Slowly lower. So we did abduction. We did internal rotation. Now we're going to external. So we're trying to find multiple ranges of motion at the hip joint. Still controlling it on the way down. 3. 2 more. Last one. Just bring that other foot down. Flex, push the foot away from you, trying to keep your knee slightly towards the sky. So we're still externally rotating, and then drag that heel back in space. Now, if the foot and knee point forward, it's not the end of the world. But for this, we're trying a little bit of external rotation. If for any reason your hip joint is like, that doesn't feel right, go to neutral. It's okay. How's that glute max feeling as you drag it back? Yeah. Yes, we have 5, 4, 3 more. Trying to keep the hip bones relatively still. They translate a little bit, but if they're really diving forward, then that could indicate the low back is moving. Hold this last one back in tiny little baby circles. For 5, 4, 3. I have wonderful news. Reverse the circles. We're almost there. Good. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and bring those legs in. Good. Smack that hip out. And then we did so much glute just now. Let's find our inner thigh a little. So instead of that knee coming forward, we're going to slide it back. And instead of widening through our tail feathers, we're going to tuck. So now we're kind of imprinted. Yeah, so ribs are back, belly button's back, tailbone's tucked. Make sure that knee is behind the bottom one and just drive that top knee down. That's all you have to do. It looks like nothing, but as soon as you start squeezing it, that inner thigh kicks on, yeah? Great, let's do it again. Good. Now, press down, down, down so much, yeah, that maybe your leg wants to internally rotate and abduct a little, but we don't have to go into a huge rotation. It's just about that activation. 3, 2 more. Last one. Bring both of your feet together, slide your feet out on an angle. Now you might choose to get rid of the ball, you might choose to keep it. Keeping those ribs engaged, rock back off of your greater trochanter, not quite that far. Yeah. Now top hand down so we can find that armpit connection. Push it into the ground, let your feet lift. And then slowly lower. Press. Think about having ruching on the like in between your rib and hip on that top side. But then that bottom inner thigh is also pushing that foot up, yeah? You have 3, 2, you're all amazing. Last one, hold. Now rock onto your back. Now rock back onto your side, see if you can find that position. Yeah, and back onto your back. If you need to, can you bend your knees and put your, yeah, that's fine. That's all right. Now here's the thing. You can always keep your arms elevated, or you can always use that top arm. Last one, like this. And then we go all the way to the other side. Yeah, other side. I like how sassy you're all being tonight. It's cracking me up. All right. So all we're gonna do is lift our bottom ribs, lengthen that top hip away, knees bent, and just keep those sits bones wide, roll that top hip bone forward a bit. So check it out, it should be slightly forward of that bottom one. Tail feathers spread wide, AB duct. And then resist gravity on the way down. Thinking about sticking your booty back a little. Good. Now, everybody's body is a little different, and maybe it feels better for you to have your feet slightly tucked behind you and knees a little bit more elongated. Maybe it feels better for you to be at 90-90. It's up to you and your body today. Give me just a few more here. Good. Sits bones wide, trying not to tuck. Nancy, stick your tail feather. Yep, thank you. 3, good. 2, nice work, everybody. Last one, and we internally rotate. We're gonna bring that knee down, flex the foot, push it away and slightly behind. And then slowly lower. Good. And reach and fold. Think about a tension rod, right? So a shower curtain rod. Tension at one side also means tension at the other, right? So as we do this, if you just extend, maybe you don't get much tension, but if you imagine pushing something away from you, you can get that little bit more force transfer between foot, glute, core. Last 2. Last one. Bend the knee, hold. Bring the other foot up to meet it. Good. Kyle, stick your tail feathers back. Thank you. Now, just spiral that thigh bone in the socket. Now, if your hip bones moved, it's not the end of the world. See if you can point them forward and then lower. So it's a rotation of the thigh bone, not desperately trying to get the knee to the sky. I don't care if the knee points to the sky. The glute should be doing the work. So if you start feeling your TFL, bring your knees farther forward, stick your booty back, and you can even touch the muscles that are supposed to be doing the work, right? Sometimes a little tap gets your nervous system excited and it knows where it should be working from, right? Good. 3 more. And 2. Good. Last. I'm going to keep it here. We're going to lower that other foot, push that foot away. So we're trying to keep that knee pointed towards the sky. Good. And brush that heel back in space. And then to center. Brush the heel back in space. Now, if you have limited rotation in your hip, your foot might be trying to lead the charge. If that's the case, just see if you can match the foot with the upper leg. That's it. Good. How's that feeling? Everybody's glute max kicking on? Yeah. Give me 5, 4, 3 more. The glute max is so important. Hold this last one back. Tiny circles. All right. Aside from walking, the glute max is really important for back stabilization. Our posterior oblique subsystem is mostly thoracolumbar fascia, glute max, and contralateral lat. Reverse your circles. It helps create a force closure for your sacrum. So a stable sacrum is easier if you have a strong glute max that reacts. 3, 2, last one. Bring those knees together. Now this top one is going to slide back and then close your ribs. And all we're going to do is push that top knee down. Yep, drive it down and then relax. Now notice if you're trying to also push up with that bottom knee, if you are, try to relax it. We're just pushing down. Good. Couple more. Everybody feeling their inner thigh a little? Great. Now, if it's appropriate, drive it down and maybe the leg starts internally rotating. Good. And press. Few more. And 2. Last. You all right there, Nancy? Good. Last one. Both feet together. Extend your legs out. Rock back behind your greater trochanter. You can press and we just start to lift. So it's a little bit of ruching from the side, bottom inner thigh, and down. And again. Now you can use the ball or pillow or get rid of it. You can even extend that top arm if that feels better for you. Good. Still hugging that armpit in. We have 3, 2 more. Last one like this, and then we get to hold it. You guys ready? Hold. Rock back. See where you go. Rock back to center. Yeah, and then rock back. Hey, inner thighs are active, yeah? Now, if you're like me and you're rolling off your mat, get a little closer under your mat. It's fine. If you need to have your knees bent, that's okay. You can even have them on the floor or your feet on the floor. Good. You have 1. And then we get to go all the way to the other side. And hold. And then go to the other side again. We're just going back and forth a couple times. You can always put your feet down in between. And see if one side is easier than the other. Hey, if you need to, bend your knees. That's okay. If you need to, Shavasana, it's fine. You can always keep your feet down. Last one, each side. And come onto your back, hug your knees in towards your chest. You what? Oh yeah, we're gonna come on to one of our forearms. Yes, take your bands off if you have them. Good. Good. And we're gonna this is just devolved. You guys are cracking me up. Come on to your forearm. Nancy, you can always be on your hand. And this goes for anybody. If you have shoulder stuff and you don't like being on your forearm, it's fine. So just push your elbow into the ground, lift your ribs, and then push your knees into the ground to lift your hips. So it's a little knee plank. Yeah. And then tap your hips down if it's appropriate, and then push into the ground to lift back up. If when you do this, you're like, oh man, my shoulder, I've kind of fall out of it, or my back, don't lift as high, you can always keep your hips down. And then if you're like, I'd like more challenge, extend your top leg. And then if you'd like more challenge, extend your bottom leg. We have 3. The legs that are extended, you still have to push into the ground. It's still inner thigh and glute, as well as your lat serratus and oblique. And then we go to the other side. So once again, you can be on your hips. You don't even have to lift off your hips, right? We're just lifting our ribs, pushing into the ground, and then slowly lowering the ribs. And maybe you push your knees into the ground to lift your hips, coming into a little knee plank. Maybe you extend that top leg, pushing that foot into the floor to get that inner thigh. And then lift. Just a couple more. 4, 3, 2 more. Last one, come to your center and hold. Knees down. Slowly lower your hips, look forward. Good. Shoulder blades draw down your back. Now, if it's appropriate for your body, you're going to push into the floor, lift your ribs, come into a knee plank, and then slowly lower your hips again and look forward. So you can stay in the knee plank, or you can come into a full plank if appropriate. If all of a sudden you start overworking your hip flexors or your back feels unsupported, at least come into a knee plank before going into full plank, right? No problem. Last 2. Last one, knees down. Press yourselves into a rest position. Hands up and over to one side. Press your hips away and breathe. Other side. And you guys, it wouldn't be class without a little baby bit of balance work. We're going to come to standing. Good. Now, if being on the mat is where you are today, amazing. If you're like, my balance isn't that good, come onto the floor with me. We're going to spread our feet wide, and we're going to bring heel to toe as if we're on a balance beam. Good. Great. Maybe this is where you are. Maybe you want to look over one shoulder. Hello. And then other side. Good. If you accidentally make eye contact with someone, be friendly, wink, smile, smize. You're not allowed to smile or wink. Just avoid eye contact, look at the floor. Like, and then if that's not challenging enough, no problem. Lift your foot. Yeah, we can always add on, right? If that's not challenging enough, close one eye. And then we get to do the other side. Right. And just kind of see where you are. Maybe this is enough. Every side is different. And then you can start looking and looking. And then you can close an eye. Hey, what's up? I mean, We're basically winking right now anyway. And if you want, you lift that foot. Couple more. And maybe this side started off trickier and then became easier, right? And 2. Last one. Both feet down. Nod your chin. Hollow out through the front of your body. Relax your spine. Relax your hips. And just dangle. You deserve a break. And then take your hands up and over to one side. And then, huh? Oh, yeah. And then other side. And then back to center. Let your head be heavy. Let your arms be heavy. Roll the way back up. Bring your shoulders to your ears. Drop them down. And give yourselves a round of applause. Awesome. Awesome work today, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. You guys did amazing.